Please remember to like, subscribe and comment, as we love to hear back from our viewers. Also, if you enjoy our videos, please consider becoming a patron of our show through Patreon and or GoFundMe. Links are listed below the video in the description. From the deepest, darkest recesses of Dangerous Nerds headquarters, Keith Moncrief and Gerry Kissell.
Hey guys, it's Pop Culture Minefield with
Keith
and Gerry, and we're here this weekend. We had a big delay. We're in a new location, as you can see. We're live at the Improv, see the brick wall? And we're going to be probably shooting from here live every week at the Lawrence Blankenship
Studios
abode. Yeah, it's some sort of mansion. You know, he's super rich, uber rich. Blankenship, that's, what is that, German or is that English? What is that?
it's called It's Not Me.
It's not us.
It's definitely not us.
So this week we're going to talk about a few things that hit the news this week. This is once again another big news week. But before we get started, we're going to start with the birthdays. So celebrating a birthday this week, of course, is Blade Runner's James Hong, who is 90 years young. I hate saying that this week. If he's 90 years old, it's okay to be old. And I was going to share real quick that I've met and known James for a long time because I was the founder of Blade Zone, the Blade Runner fan club.
How cool is
that? And I used to get phone calls from him, and I remember coming home one afternoon, and there was a message on my machine, and I pushed the little button. This is back when you didn't have mobile phones. It was a little device that recorded, and beep, new message came on, and it was, hello, Gerry, this is James Hong. I only do eyes. And he did this whole maniacal laugh. And I'm just sitting there going, this is the coolest thing I've ever heard, and also really terrifying.
Well, the next birthday we have is actress Jeri Ryan.
Jeri Ryan.
7 of 9 of Star Trek Voyager.
Beautiful woman, great actress.
Can you believe she's celebrating birthday 51?
And then, of course, another comic book fan who is also an actor, star of The Punisher, and one of the main characters on The Expanse.
Yeah.
Is Thomas Jane. He is 50 today. And then...
birthday of the First Lady of Star Trek.
Yep. Majel Barrett Roddenberry would be 87 today if she had survived. We miss her. I was lucky because I was doing cons at that time through the Star Trek art that I did. My goodness, I got to meet her and Marina Sirtis at one con. Just the nicest lady on the planet. Wow. Really wonderful.
Wow.
And then let's see, and yesterday...
Yeah, yesterday we said goodbye to the legendary Peter Tork.
We lost Peter Tork of the Monkees. I went on a binge and watched the first season of the Monkees after I found out. I got a little weepy-eyed because he was one of our favorite Monkees. I mean, every kid loved him.
I think every kid really did like Peter.
He was just the nicest guy. He was the nice guy in the band. And he always had the flower or... had a flower in his hand or painted on his cheek some point. He was the love child in the band. And then, of course, yesterday was also the 10-year anniversary for...
Heath Ledger's big win at the Oscars.
Best Supporting Actor, posthumously, but the fact is, as you said, it's the first time...
that any comic book movie has ever won an acting award, let alone...
Any one of the major awards.
Any one of the major awards.
Not that we give a crap about the Oscars because they're bull crap, but I do like that he won that because it's one of the few times I was excited about the Oscars is that he got that. Yeah. And from this point, we move on to the next step, which is our little reviews. We're going to talk about some of the stuff like this week we saw the Highlander episode of the Goldbergs, and if you weren't aware, Tom Clancy is one of the main characters on the show now. He's the shop teacher. And having the Highlander episode taking place mostly around him in the industrial arts class was hilarious. And one of my favorite moments is when, you know, the nerds versus the jocks that want to join the Highlander Club. They want to separate because the jocks are beating up the nerds with their swords. And so, well, can't we create a second club? And Clancy Brown delivers the line,
"There can be only one."
and then the kid's like, "Wait, what?" I laughed my butt off, and then he goes, "I mean, there can only be one club. I mean, there shouldn't be two clubs. It should only be one. I'm just saying." Clancy Brown is king, man. And you know, we wanted to point out that I love that show. The Goldbergs is great, and of course the spin-off series School is pretty good too. And Clancy appears in that one as the same character.
Yeah,
a lot of the characters, there's crossover characters between the two shows.
Yeah,
and I really do like those shows because I think they are good homages to
the 80s
and nerds and the 80s and early 90s.
Yes,
and we got into this talk earlier about shows that are actually pro-geek. Yeah. And one of the ones that I consider a personal offender show is the one that gets mentioned all the time, which is Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
I personally do not like the show very much. I do like some of the characters and I like some of the comedy, but the fact is the show itself I consider to be kind of a dig at geeks. They're typecasting geeks and nerds. The geeks I grew up with, we were fighters. We were constantly getting into fights with bullies and stuff like that. We did not tolerate being bullied as kids.
Yeah.
My BFF from childhood, both of them, Jim Woodward and Mike Beatty, we were constantly getting into fights. And there was none of this getting our butts handed to us. We dished it out. And so bullies didn't mess with us so much. And so we were a different kind of nerds. And that's the kind of nerds and geeks I was used to. Smart, brainy, Star Wars loving, Star Trek loving kids. And so when I see shows like Big Bang Theory, it kind of
sets you back a little bit.
Yeah, it typecasts us as just being the brainy guys that are wimps that got picked on.
Yeah.
And that's not every bully. I mean, every nerd or geek.
And then you had shows that were that are the opposite of Big Bang as far as being very geek-centric.
And shows that we both like, which is...
Like Community, which is really a geek's view of what normal people are like.
Yeah.
It's a much better show, in my opinion, with a lot of really cool guest stars, whereas on Big Bang, they are the actors playing themselves. On Community, a lot of these actors would be characters within those episodes, some of them with reoccurring roles.
Yeah.
And it was just amazing, and I still think...
These are nerd geeks writing this show.
Yeah.
And of course, he went on to co-create Rick and Morty, which again is a very geeky, nerdy show. And people, I get it, some don't like that show.
Yeah.
I personally love the show. It makes me laugh. Good science. Not great science, good science.
Yeah.
And of course, one of the other ones is, what was it?
Well, I mean, you
like
Sheldon.
The spinoff of Big Bang Theory. I love that show because it's not a sitcom. It's a family dynamic show. No laugh track. The comedy just comes naturally out of real world situations. And in fact, one of my favorite episodes recently is it basically mimicked the real true life story, which was tragic in some ways, of the kid who built a nuclear reactor, which we saw in the news. Another kid just did that. Mm-hmm. Built a whole nuclear reactor, a functioning nuclear reactor. Now, it happened previously, and this kid did it illegally, getting the radioactive material from buying a bunch of smoke alarms and using that to build his fusion reactor. But with his, it was dangerous because it was throwing out radiation. And of course, he had a tragic death a few years back.
Yeah.
That kid, well, he was an adult when he died. But anyway, I like that show because it's also kind of nerdy and it's not disparaging towards geeks. And then, of course, he wanted to bring up a show that we both love.
Yeah, Netflix unveiled the Umbrella Academy, which is, I like to call it, hey, Fox, this is how you do the X-Men. Okay? I mean, seriously. Their excuses of saying that they could not have done the X-Men as they were originally intended in the comics, meaning the original version of the X-Men, and having to work their way up and introducing more characters, which is the reason why you got Wolverine introduced into that. This show proves that you don't need Wolverine. You could actually just do the characters.
Have really good characters that worked well together. And it's really good. Now, I've read the comic. the Umbrella Academy, and it does stray a little bit.
A little.
Because we don't get the pre-stories of them like the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
We don't get any of that stuff. Instead, we get the background story, and they make up this thing that's not in the comic book of the October of 1989. I can't remember, was it October 23rd of 1989?
Yeah.
43 children are suddenly created and born abruptly.
Yeah.
Same, like within minutes of being created. Spontaneous pregnancies.
Yeah.
And we open on a scene that was not in the comic book of the young Russian girl.
Mm-hmm.
And we get to see her she's not pregnant when she dives into the pool, and when she comes up to get air, she's pregnant and crowning. And it's goes from there, and you meet this rich entrepreneur who
basically just goes around trying to buy
these kids, pay the families money for their kids.
Yeah.
And he gets 7 of the 43, and he raises them in their own little academy, the Umbrella Academy, to be superheroes. And
it's a good show.
And it's a messed up family dynamic. It's
is,
really good, and
which
it's
is
funny. And
which is the exact way the X-Men should be. Okay? So, basically, here's hoping that Kevin Feige, who I have a lot of faith in, will do this right.
Ditto.
So,
I have a lot of faith in Kevin Feige.
The next one will be DC All Access's next new show called Doom Patrol.
Now, we're going to separate because we're going to be talking about DC stuff in a minute, too, but to start off, we want to mention, because you've seen both episodes of Doom Patrol?
No, I haven't seen those yet.
I have watched them, and I have the same reaction. Once again, great team dynamic, hilarious, good writing, great acting. I consider it to be one of the best things on TV. Not just best superhero related, one of the best shows on TV. What they did... Now, they're kind of borrowing from Deadpool's meta thing, which he's completely self-aware that he's a comic book.
Actually, that actually comes from the later versions of the Doom Patrol.
That's in the Doom Patrol because the narrator of the show is the villain, and he's telling you the story literally as it's happening.
Yeah.
And you actually, in the episode, he's describing the scene to one of the characters, and the character's like, why are you talking like that? It was really funny. The cast is really good. We've got, oh my goodness, the guy from Firefly, the pilot.
That's...
I can't believe I forgot his name.
Yeah.
He plays the villain.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Timothy Dalton is the chief.
Niles Calder, the chief, who was not in the episode Doom Patrol for Titans.
No,
so
he was not.
They had a different actor, and they brought in Timothy Dalton. But the rest of the cast is stacked. It's good. It's solid.
Brendan Fraser is the voice of Robot Man.
Yeah.
And the guy from Suits, is it Suits? No, he's the art thief. That show. Good actor. He's also on American Horror Story. He plays the pilot, Negative Man.
Yeah. But I mean, it's a good cast. Now, I'm still kind of hesitant because I was really big on the comic. The original comic and not any of the new version comics, which is where some of the newer characters come from. Not the biggest on it, but I'm waiting to watch the whole thing and because this guy is really pimping on it really hard, I'll probably give it a chance.
Well, one of the things that excited me about last night's episode in particular is a friend of mine, Phil Morris, plays Silas. Dr. Silas Stone, and we got to see him last night. And there's a really interesting nightmare scene with him I don't want to tell you about. It was really good. A lot of bone saw. So it's an intriguing show. Yeah. It's funny. It does not hold back from being funny at all,
which is good.
And it shocked me, the language in it. This was not what I expected. There's a lot of F-bombs and stuff like that. Because like the first episode ended on an F-bomb. I'm like, how did they do that? But it was really good. And Brendan Fraser's Robot Man is my absolute favorite. And highly recommend that show. You need to watch it.
Yeah, and so do you.
Now, we're going to skip over because some of you may not be aware. Some of you did see my reaction video to Jordan Peele's new Twilight Zone trailer that dropped yesterday. And not just me, thousands of reaction videos were pulled yesterday by CBS because somehow getting free positive publicity is not a good thing. So a bunch of YouTube reaction videos were pulled, and mine was one of them. Even though it's completely within the rights thing, the way that I did it, it got pulled. I argued it, but we probably won't get an approval for 30 days, so what's the point? But I want to say right off the bat, I love that trailer. I really was impressed. Because I wasn't sure, because Jordan Peele's kind of funny, goofy, you know? Can he pull off Rod Serling kind of hosting? Can he? And I gotta be honest, man, I like what he's doing. He's doing variations too of classic episodes. The predictable or the predictor devil things in there. We've got Nightmare at 30,000 Feet, which was a classic with William Shatner, as well as with John Lithgow in the Twilight Zone movie, where they remade it. And they're doing a variation of it with William Scott? Is that his name?
Yeah.
And there's more to the story. And in the trailer, you can actually see a doll version wash up on shore of the creature from the original Twilight Zone episode, from The Wing. I'm all in. I'm all in.
You know, this is just part of a major uptick in honoring Rod Serling. Because this was not the only Rod Serling project that's being revived. Earlier, it had been announced that they're going to also try to revive Night Gallery.
Yes, I saw that. That show scared the poop out of me as a kid. The Earwig episode, just absolutely. That one in the Vampire Bat, Wingless Vampire Bat brooch.
Yeah. Now that was also the show that gave a very young director his big break in Hollywood overall.
Oh my God! Who was it?
Steven Spielberg.
Who?
Steven Spielberg of Cincinnati, Ohio. But seriously though, be on the lookout for even more stuff. And when you get a chance, when the show premieres, check out The Twilight Zone by Jordan.
And if you haven't seen the trailer yet, go watch it. After the show, we'll add a link to it down below. We're going back into the DC universe, and we're going to talk about the
big rumor.
The big rumor going on.
It is a rumor. Okay, there has been nothing established. There has been no announcement made, official or otherwise, by Warner Brothers or the CW. But
so we're confirming right now that this is a rumor, and it's they're saying that Arrow is canceled, and it was
or will be careful. Yeah, will be canceled after this upcoming season. So basically, the rumor is that at the end of the upcoming new season of Arrow and also of Legends of Tomorrow, both shows will be canceled.
And I'm not really surprised with Legends, but I'm a little surprised with Arrow because it's got a big following.
Well, part of it is, I think the way the rumor is structured is it'll be in response to the Crisis on Infinite Earths type special they have coming up, and that they're going to try to basically take all of this separate Earth stuff, and they're going to try to streamline everything into one Earth. But that Arrow and then Legends Tomorrow, that's just too much money to try to get to where they're going with all these shows. Plus, what Arrow will have been on 8 or 9 seasons by then, and so at the end, I mean, it's basically it's time. And
I'm not a fan. I got to be honest.
Yeah, I'm not a fan anymore. I've checked out long ago.
I watched that first season and realized what they were doing. Yeah, with Batman.
Legends of Tomorrow is also the lowest rated out of all of the Berlanti DC shows, so that one was on borrowed time anyway. But with Batwoman, you're still gonna have a good number of shows. So it'll be Flash, it'll be Supergirl, it'll be Black Lightning, and it'll be Batwoman.
And I'm not excited about any of those because they've all been CWized, which means they're written for teen to young adult people, and so therefore they put the fake drama in.
Yeah, all of
why didn't you tell me? How could you keep that from me? Kind of stuff, and it's just like, no, thank you.
It's just basically kind of. Now, fortunately, that's been kind of sidelined a little bit with a lot of the Berlanti stuff on DC All Access, meaning Titans and
completely
Doom Patrol,
different.
Okay, Although there are still 5 other DC shows that have nothing to do with Berlanti and outside of the DC All Access stuff that people need to be supporting because these are still very good shows. You know, like the other CW show, iZombie, which is really well done. And then you have, Gotham, which is in its final season.
I love that show.
We'll have a story relating to that a little later. But also, you have Lucifer, and you have...
which is going to Netflix, right? They're going to
it's already on Netflix.
No, the new season. They're going to do
yes.
The final season on there.
And then, of course, you have Preacher. And
another great show.
Oh, fantastic
AMC.
show. And finally, Krypton.
Which I don't like.
I love it mainly because it's got good stories, good actors, fantastic visual effects, and way better makeup on a show that probably cost about the same amount to do as, say, Supergirl. But, like, if you go in and Google Brainiac 5, parentheses, Supergirl series, and check out their Brainiac versus Krypton, if you go in and search that one, and it's Brainiac, parentheses, Krypton series, and look at their version of Brainiac, it's not even close. You know, it's
and the only thing that's going to get me watching is the fact that we talked about it last episode, is they're bringing Lobo. And I like Lobo. So I'm like, okay, I'm probably going to watch the show now. We'll see if I can be made into a fan.
Hey, they're going to be bringing in the Thanagarians. They're going to bring in a few other... I mean, this is really DC exploring the more outer reaches of what it has. And I'm in favor of that as long as they have nothing to do with Berlanti. I'm good with it.
Well, but going back onto the DC shows, we've got Titans, which bugs me that they don't call it Teen Titans.
Yeah.
And then, of course, his emotional chafing comes from the fact that if you're going to do these older teens, then why are you making Raven the younger, just post-pubescent teen?
Yeah, why you got to
when
do
she
that?
was older than they were. It's just,
by a little bit. She was probably 20, 21.
But she was fully formed as a character, and just it's kind of weird that they are doing it this way.
Kind of like a Mr. Spock type of a teen.
Yeah.
You know, because she had to
That's
remain...
illogical.
Yeah, she had to be neutral in her emotions. And that made more sense.
Because of her fear of bringing out the Cthulhu-esque father.
Yes.
But I still like Titans.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was going to because of that trailer where he says F Batman. I'm just like, what? No. Yeah. But I enjoyed the series, but Doom Patrol is just nailing it across the board. I love that show. So we got a lot of DC stuff coming that's going to be good. Got some stuff that may be going away. We'll see what happens. The other big news, of course, that dropped this week is the casting of some of the main characters for the Lost Boys.
Yeah, Warner Brothers Lost Boys series. I gotta say, for right now, this looks like it's going to be decent. But they went ahead and cast the former Teen Wolf star Tyler Posey. He'll be playing Michael.
I wonder if he's any relation to Parker Posey.
It's a good question. I think he...
It's spelled the same way.
Yeah, I think he might be, but I'm not sure.
I'm a big fan of Parker Posey. But the cast looks really good. I wasn't sure because I'm skeptical. I'm always skeptical when you hear something of, we're going to reboot this because we have nothing original to do. So I hear Lost Boys and immediately I think, oh, this is going to be bad. This is going to be more teen drama, fake drama.
There's still that chance. I mean, the basic story still matches the 1987
Except
film.
For the reason why they're going to Santa Clara.
Now, the original movie had the mom moving with her 2 sons because she had gotten a divorce. In this new series, it's because her husband died. So there's going to be a little bit of an emotional weight because that's also going to have an effect on our older son. And then they actually added in a backstory as to the reason why she had moved away from the area and had spent years away, living away from there, and why it's kind of humiliating for her to be moving back.
And we don't know yet still if Grandpa's going to be in it.
Yeah, that's a
and
good
he's
question.
one of my favorite characters in
Yeah.
the film. Has the best line in the original film, which is, do you know what sucks about Santa Clara?
It's all those vampires.
Best ending. Obvious lead into a sequel that never came.
The only other thing was that there was a rumor that they were going to try to gender swap the Frog Brothers.
I
and
don't
make
think
them into
that's
the
a
Frog Sisters.
good idea, but we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll
but
see.
We're not running it, so. But good luck. Good luck. The next thing is they're going to have
Utopia
yeah, which was
and Wheel of Time. We'll mention both of those because both of those are going to Amazon.
yeah. So Utopia was a hit series in Britain that was originally being developed back about 2004, 2005 for HBO.
With David Fincher.
Yeah, David Fincher was the lead guy. It had a complete.
Because that's where I remember it from.
Yeah, he had a whole different cast and a way of doing things, and that didn't end up working out because of budgetary reasons. So now they're bringing it back, and you have a whole new cast, and one of the stars of it will be Corey Michael Smith, who you may remember from Gotham, playing Edward Nygma, and this is his new show, along with Rainn Wilson, formerly of the American version of The Office.
And Star Trek Discovery.
But this is also going to be a show that will be focusing on kind of like a geeky type thing, which is all these young people who have found each other online. And it's about a collectible graphic novel that seems to be able to bring an amount of truth to all of these weird conspiracy theories. And there's a mysterious organization that finds out that they have this book and targets them. And because of the book and because of what it predicts, all of these characters now feel obligated to try to save the world. So that's Utopia. And
That sounds good.
yeah, it's a very interesting little thing. It's all going to be on Amazon. And meanwhile, Amazon has another show that they are launching based on Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time series. Now, they have a director already chosen, okay? There have been no casting announcements made, but so far they have planned out the pilot and first episode once they launch the Wheel of Time. So as soon as we get more information on that, we will get it to you.
Oh, we do. I guess we do have one that we forgot about. The announcement this week for Dune.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. And Dune.
It's the guy from Ant-Man. He was also in...
oh, yeah. David Dashmalchian has been cast as Peter.
He was also in The Dark Knight.
Yep. Peter de Vries.
And he's going to be playing Piper? Is that
Yeah,
it?
Peter or Peter de Vries.
Yeah, that should be really interesting. An interesting casting choice for him. I like him as an actor. He's creepy and good.
And from Kansas City.
But that's right. Holy crap, another Missourian. And then moving on from there, we've got the biopic coming out of Hulk Hogan with Chris Hemsworth as the Almighty. And don't know who's going to direct it yet, but we know who the star is. Don't know if it's going to be a movie or on Netflix. We don't know.
It's going to be Netflix.
Is it?
It's what I'm hearing. It's going to be Netflix.
Because I hadn't heard anything yet. I think I really want to see it because I love Hulk Hogan.
I do too. Who doesn't like Hulk Hogan? So
I'm going to tell you. So we've got that. So that's another thing to look forward to with Chris Hemsworth. It was really funny and a good actor. And then, of course, he's not seen it yet, but I enjoyed the first season of The Terror. Ridley Scott produced a TV series for FX. And, of course, that story for the first season concluded. Mm-hmm. And it's based on the true story of that Arctic team that died. And it's a mixture of horror and fact. And they're going to do the same thing here with this new season. And we've got Alexander Wu from True Blood. And we've got Max Borenstein from Kong Island and Godzilla. And they're helming the show. And it is about an internment camp during World War II. I'm assuming probably in Arizona, but it might be coastal, I don't know. And it deals with some sort of menacing specter that is haunting this internment camp for the Japanese American citizens that are staying there or being kept there. So don't know what's going to happen. Don't know anything past the premise. That is it, but it sounds good. I'm looking forward to that season. And then next up, of course, was the news that dropped this week about Hasbro.
Hasbro Lab.
Yeah, Hasbro Lab has been doing these little Kickstarter things for certain toys, and they look for a specific number, and this one just went way beyond what they expected. They were expecting like about 1,000. I think they ended up with between 5,000 and 10,000 orders for the
Jabba's
sail barge.
Yeah.
Opens up, it's got all the levels, a lot of detail, and that was exciting that we could be seeing that released real soon.
Oh, that is...
Yeah, exactly. I'm very stoked about that.
Just Google the drawings and the look at it. It looks phenomenal. If you are a Star Wars fan, you're going to love this, but it's coming straight from Hasbro. So, wow.
Yeah, buddy. And then, of course, the other thing dropping this week is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Release on Blu-rays, getting an exclusive editions on Amazon, Best Buy, and Target, which Target has not said.
Yeah, they haven't said what they're doing.
It's super, ooper, duper,
but
top secret.
But I think it's Amazon is going to have alternate artwork, and is going to have a slipcase for it, and then
the big one is Best Buy
with a special just 10 is really what it's going to be in. I mean, they've done that before, and this is going to be amazing. But it's they're going to have 4K releases for it, and it's going to have Blu-ray. It's going to everything but 3D. So be on the lookout for that. And again, if you have not seen this movie, check it out. It is definitely worth your time. It's going to have alternative scenes in it, along with some special things like one of them is going to have a Spider-Ham short included with it.
Oh, good.
And so it's just...
Everybody's hoping that gets its own spin-off.
Oh.
I think we all like Spider-Ham. I was surprised how much I liked that movie. I really enjoyed it.
That is one of the big
I like
surprises.
Spider-Man Homecoming. I much more loved Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. What a good film. And then, of course, the other big news is big Penny Dreadful returned to Showtime with its new spin-off series, which they scored Natalie Dormer from Game of Thrones.
Yep.
And
this is going to be a sequel series. It's going to take place in 1938 Los Angeles instead of in London. Okay, so it is going to be a whole new group of characters.
Yeah, the original took place in Victorian period, like in the late 1800s, early 1900s.
So this will basically be about a detective who is going to be embroiled in the middle of a massive mystery that's going to take place all over Los Angeles, 1938.
I wonder, are we going to see any returning characters?
That's a good question. So, always be on the lookout for that. But basically, this is going to be a return to form. John Logan, who is the creator and producer of Penny Dreadful, returns to oversee this new series, and he's also the one that penned the screenplay for it. So,
I want to point something out that just popped into my head that I forgot completely about. I don't know if you have watched Stephen King's miniseries on AT&T with the smiley face killer.
I haven't seen that one.
It's really good with Gleason as the retired detective that's hunting the serial killer.
Oh, yes. I remember seeing that.
And the guy who plays the serial killer in that
is one of the actors from Penny Dreadful.
No, he's not.
Oh, he's his brother.
It's his twin brother.
Yes.
And I thought it was the same guy, and then I'm like, wait a minute. What? We have several twin brothers in the Hollywood movies and TV shows.
Yeah.
From the kid who played Jimmy Olsen on Smallville, which is, by the way, news is still going around, rumors that they're going to bring back a possible bring back of Smallville. Because I know that the two lead actors are interested, and they said that they are interested if they want to do it.
Well, they're hitting a lot of conventions, especially in the Kansas City area. With Planet Comic-Con, they're going to be there at Planet Comic-Con. So, if you're in the area, go to Planet Comic-Con. You might see one or both of us there. Thought I'd put a little shout out for those guys, but it's playing a comic.
We're going to try to do, because of this, I kind of think it would be kind of cool if we do more shows. Please comment. Let us know if you like the idea of us doing panels at conventions together.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing it at Visioncon, and we're going to be doing some panels and, of course, hosting the show live from Visioncon.
So contact any conventions that you may know and have them contact us, or just request that we attend.
Yeah,
So,
because, we're fun and stuff. So let's see, we've got that with Natalie Dormer. She's gorgeous. And of course, my personal news is, of course, I just designed a new movie poster for Hercules and Xena director Josh Becker. His film Morning, Noon, and Night. The original poster they felt wasn't working, so him being one of my closest friends, he approached me about designing a new one. And of course, they wanted me to do something that was very much like Saul Bass. And of course, I'm a huge fan of Saul Bass. So Lawrence is going to throw it up on screen here so you can get a peek at the design I did. This is not the finished poster. This is just the initial comp that I put together, and they seem to really like it.
that's your assignment, kids. If you have no idea who Saul Bass is,
Look him up.
Look him up. Just Google or Yahoo the guy.
The Shining. It's a mad, 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 mad world. Dr. Strangelove. My gosh, he did so many movie posters. And graphics within movies, too.
Yeah.
Hitchcock loved him. So anyway, as did Stanley Kubrick. And so I hope you guys like the graphic. Pass out anything else we want to talk about? Anything we forgot to mention?
I think we're good. Just
Okay.
make sure that, as the weeks and days go on before the next time that you see us, make sure you just visit your favorite libraries, favorite bookstores, your favorite mom and pop comic book shops, your favorite gaming stores. Support all those local businesses.
Ours here in town is the Comic Cave.
Yeah.
It is a mom and pop. Well, it's Joshua.
Yeah, but it is mom and pop. it's straight up best comics. But also just make sure you make time, say hello, try to hang out there every once in a while.
And you might catch us there because we've been talking about, and Josh is excited about us shooting a promo there and even broadcasting live from their comic shop. So, and we like comics. Yeah, we're geeks like that.
We'll see what Josh says.
Yeah. So, from Missouri, Springfield, home of something, I don't know.
Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt. I worked for Brad and Doug. I did some stuff for those guys. Good guys.
But a lot of people have come from this half of the state, so
John Goodman. What's her name from that sexy? She Jessica Rabbit actress. She's from here too.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Kathleen
Turner. Yeah, it's Kathleen Turner. So we've got a lot of movie people from here. We're movie people.
A few. We've got a few.
Yeah, we both work in film, and we've been friends for a while. We met at Visioncon, and some of the best friends. In fact, my girlfriend, who's sitting here watching right now, we met at Visioncon, and she looks totally uncomfortable now that we're talking about her, drawing attention. Anyway, just tune in next week.
Just tune in next week, and remember,
support comics, support movies, watch stuff, and quiz us. I'm surprised we didn't get any questions today, but then again, our schedule's off today, so I'm sure the people that were going to watch us aren't watching us. But next week, 12 noon, we will be on time.
So, for me, Keith.
And Gary, this is Pop Culture Minefield, drinking coffee.
Boom.